Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Drone Wars. In this episode you can see the board here. There is quite a lot going on. The Pirate Empire is slowly taking over. I think the only faction that can actually stop them will be the Federation at this point. The New Galactic Alliance is in a lot of trouble here, and so is Delta Shipyards. The Great Red Sun Empire is still surviving somehow, and they've actually managed to escape from their quarter and go towards the middle of the map here, so they might have a small advantage, but they're pretty much every faction here is encountered almost every faction, I think. So we're going to go through each of these factions and we're going to see what happens on the board this time. Well, here we are. So the first thing that the Alliance has decided to do, well, they only have four they only have four planets here, and there's a Reddit on both sides. They have the Federation above them, and down here they have the Pirate Empire, and over there they have the Great Red Sun Empire. So they need to figure out a way to escape from this situation and give themselves a little more breathing room here. So their first action is, of course, they're going to be sending one of their most powerful fleets down here to take on one of the most powerful Pirate Empire fleets to hopefully whittle it down or at least stop them a little bit. As you can see here, they're going to be going against this shipyard here. They're going to try taking out these Vegas, Hammerheads, Rapiers. There's a lot of ships here. And of course, they're just going to bring these corvettes in their battleship to go and take it on. So we're going to go ahead and take this fleet versus this fleet, and we're going to see if they win or not. Here we are. We're on the alien planet. We're basically in the middle of the forest here, and well, we have some ships here that are going to be going into battle. Right here is the Alliance with their fleet. They have some fighters. They have their battleships set up with plenty of missiles. They've got just a handful of corvettes here to help out, and they're going to be using this fleet to try to take on the Pirate Empire's fleet. Which, if we go over here, we can see the full might of the Pirate Empire. They're super curious on the opposite side of the galaxy right now, but unfortunately, they have this massive fleet here. They have frigates, battleships, and fighters. Lots of fighters that come with the battleships. So, this is a very one-sided battle. We're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're just going to jump in and see if any ships are actually taken out. You see almost immediately these fighters are going up. Off in the distance, we can probably see the rest of the ships starting to move in. Plenty of torpedoes being fired. And lots of railguns coming in, just taking out all of those torpedoes. Alright. There's a lot of fighters here. And these are going to release a lot of missiles soon, so sim speed might drop a little bit. Hopefully these other corvettes can actually do some damage here. You can see that some torpedoes are actually starting to get through. Yeah, there's a lot of railgun coming in for those other corvettes, which are trying to sit back and do whatever damage they can from a distance. You can also see that this ship is also jumping in, trying to do its damage from a distance. And right here we can see all these fighters just charging in. I have no idea if there's any light fighters still active here, as they're pretty much being hit by those railguns.
And these fighters are just launching a lot over here. But it seems like there are some kills being done here. You can see that it seems like one of these frigates was completely cut in half. Then a corvette has been completely taken out here. Although there's not going to be much left of it here. These ships need to move in and take out those other ships. Because those missiles are going to be lethal if they don't do something to stop them. Then out here, these corvettes are trying to play it smart from a distance, although they are taking some damage now. Yeah, their engines are starting to fail, so they are falling. Alright, so the battleships are already in battle here. The Myrmidon seems to be trying to get some distance and find a way at other targets in the back. But it seems like these two Vegas are moving in to finish off the, just finish them off. This is not looking good. These corvettes here are definitely going to take a lot of damage too. You can see that it's trying to get up to go and help the battleship up there. It's pretty much just a 2v1 here. There's a lot of railguns starting to pierce through their hull there. So they're not going to last for very long if they keep staying there. He's definitely going to try doing whatever damage he can. I think he is aiming at their targets over here. There's just an absurd amount of railgun coming towards this ship. Seems like the Corvette out here is still alive somehow, but it's going to be falling down pretty soon. I think he's definitely lost a lot of his thrust. This battleship is pretty much just being completely torn apart here. Yeah, his wings have just been ripped out and now he's falling. Well, that battleship is falling, and I believe there's only one last frigate, which actually has crash landed over here. And they don't seem to be going up anytime soon. So with that, I think that's the entirety of the Alliance defeated here. We'll see what ships are left. There's plenty of fighters still kicking. There are still 3 battleships very much alive, doing damage. There is a frigate up here, a frigate in the back, and there is another frigate down here that crashed. They might still be able to move though. We did lose one of the frigates. So I'll be sure to go ahead and update the roster here. And we're going to go on ahead and see what else the Alliance decides to do. Or if the Federation decides to do anything else. Alright, we're back at the board. So the Alliance has completely failed to take over this alien-like planet. And their next order of business, well, they decided that with their second action they're going to be building another fleet here, so they've decided to go ahead and build some more corvettes and some fighters. And with that, they're now thinking about what to do. Of course, the AI decided that instead of trying to attack the pirates, they're going to go and attack the Federation, because that seems to be a weaker and more approachable target. And of course, they need to kind of flee from the dangers that are down here. They realize they cannot win against that, so they've taken their fleet that was here at this fortress world, and they've moved it up here to take on this other fortress world, owned by the Federation. And of course, it's on the Trident Mountains, yet again. This planet has a lot of traffic. So, we're going to go ahead and simulate that battle, and we're going to see who comes out on top, and we're going to see if the Alliance is able to actually expand a little bit. Well, here we are on Trident yet again. So here is the fleet that's going to be taking on that fortress, and that fortress is just up here on the mountain. Right there. So we're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to see how well that fleet does against this mountain fortress. It's already been a collision, as it seems these 2 corvettes have collided in midair while trying to get to the enemy. They are, however, still going strong. Also, that corvette down here might hit the floor. Maybe. Or it might get back up, who knows. No, it's definitely hitting the... Yep. There it goes. That's unfortunate. You can see there's already some shots coming in. Here comes the corvette coming in from above. Not sure what their plan there was. He's just so managed to get lucky and sweep by the side of the mountain there. If that was on flat ground, he would have hit the ground. You can see over here that the cruiser is taking its time over here, attacking from a distance. Seems like that corvette's rapidly going down now. There goes, another ship defeated. So Now the remaining turrets just have to take out that cruiser, and they'll win the fight. That cruiser is pretty strong and hanging out. It's just gonna keep doing whatever damage it's capable of doing here. Not the most accurate, but it definitely does quite a bit of damage. Turrets are going to be digging in little by little here. This cruiser here seems to be taking advantage of the elevation here, trying to stay a little bit low. Once it gets up, it starts to get shot at again, so not exactly the healthiest combination here. He's doing his best to do some evasive maneuvers as these turrets are slowly taking off the armor. Those cannons don't have the best of accuracy, so he's going to need to be kind of lucky to disable some of these turrets. The good thing is that they do quite a bit of damage, so he'll be able to do some damage regardless. He just needs to make sure he doesn't accidentally get shot down or something like that. The armor might be able to hold, so... He's going in for a different angle of attack here. So I don't think he has realized that there's a mountain next to him here. He's trying to climb. He's doing his best to climb here, and he's just crashed. Still going strong though. Starting to dig deep into the armor now, aiming for some of the internal systems, which is not good for this ship at all. Of course, because the ship isn't moving as much, it is getting some more accurate shots here and there. It's not exactly in a great spot here, as those turrets are doing as much damage as they can. Definitely got quite the angle on lots of these turrets here. They are very durable and they're really hitting hard. It's definitely digging in here. Seems like the reverse thrust has basically gone out, so now the ship is starting to sink forward. That's not good for him. I'm pretty sure the AI on that cruiser has been completely taken out. And I believe that's the entirety of the fleet here, basically defeated. So that fortress is still standing strong, and now it's up to the Federation to see how they're going to respond. Well, things here are not taking a great turn for the Alliance, as the Federation has basically decided to make their first action. And well, the Federation is really fed up with the Alliance. They're deciding they're going to basically just eliminate the Alliance once and for all. They're taking their, probably one of their most powerful fleets, if not the most powerful. They're taking it all the way from the corner, and they're going to take out the Alliance's last shipyard. And as you can see here, they're going to be taking on these two fleets, which are mostly composed of corvettes and some fighters. So we're going to go ahead and combine these two fleets against this massive fleet. Well, it's not really massive, but then again, it's carrying a lot of fighters, 2 carriers. So yeah, these two fleets versus this fleet, and we're going to see if the Alliance is able to defend themselves from that one Federation fleet there. Well, here we are. Alright, some snowy fields here, and we're going to see this final, well, it's not quite the final confrontation, but you know, this is the last shipyard that the Alliance has. If they lose this battle, that means the only way for them to make more ships is that they have to conquer land and hopefully get a shipyard. You know, this is the combined Alliance force here. 2 Dart corvettes, 4 Raptor corvettes, and just a handful of fighters here. And they're going to be going up against the Federation fleet over here, which consists of their corvettes, 2 carriers, a battleship, and a lot of fighters. I mean, the Alliance has not been able to take out this fleet for a long time, and I don't know if they're going to be able to disable at least one of the ships in this battle, but hopefully they might have a chance at slowing down this fleet or something. Who knows? So almost immediately the entire Federation fleet is now moving. Might be a small collision or two here and there. Oh, that's not healthy. So already some torpedoes moving in against this Corvette. The Corvette basically shrugged it off, which is just fine, I guess. There's already a lot of cannons moving back and forth here. More torpedoes being fired away. Seems like the Corvette's AI was actually struck. But it is still flying, so it's technically not out to fight yet. You can see all these fighters are now moving in, preparing to attack. These Dart Corvettes are not going to have a great time in this short amount of time here. All those fighters are definitely going to do a lot to them. There we go, the fighters are now entering combat. There's a lot of green going towards these Corvettes out here. There's a lot of damage being done here. I don't know if the Alliance is going to be able to get out of this one here. There's a lot of fighters just jumping around here, flying through this formation. All the cannon fire in all directions is quite a lot here. As you can see, these darts are already getting lost into the battlefield here. There goes another one. The remaining Corvettes over here are just being showered by all the cannons from the remaining ships here. It seems that they are going around, just taking out the fighters. Either that or they're trying to circle the enemy to attack him from the side. The remaining Alliance ships are pretty much just being shot down. And there we go. Massive explosion. Are there any more Alliance ships left? I don't think there are. Let's take a look at what ships are left. I know that the Corvette is still flying up there, so it's still alive. We still have the carriers and the battleship all the way over there. That's a lot of signals. And well, there's still plenty of fighters around the place. So we're going to go ahead and update the roster here. We're going to go and update that the shipyard has been taken out and has been claimed by the Federation. Alright, we're back to the board, and, well, some interesting developments have happened. Well, of course, you can see here as the Federation has successfully taken over this, that planet. So the Alliance is left with just like 3 planets left, which is not great. And then the Federation, they've decided, okay, well, they've decided to move their fleet that was up here at this shipyard down to this shipyard, so it'd be closer to the to enemy targets over here. And then what they've decided to do is take their other fleet that was here at the Salos Canyons, instead of going after the Alliance, because I'm pretty sure the Alliance is pretty much crippled at this point, they decided they're going to go after the Great Red Sun Empire and try to stop them from expanding. So they've pretty much just split the Great Red Sun Empire into 3 pieces at this point. And I believe that's it for the Federation's turn. So the Federation is gaining a little more control here, and they are pretty much just tearing apart the other factions here. Now, Delta Shipyards, on their turn, they've decided to go ahead and do a few things. They used their first 2 turns to actually build some more fleets. One of them including just a single cruiser and just some fighters, and then the next fleet they used the rest of their budget on fighters. They couldn't even build a full fleet. And with that, they've decided to move their new fleet with a cruiser up to take another one of these planets from the Great Red Sun Empire. You know, it's free real estate at this point because the Great Red Sun Empire really can't do much to defend itself. So with that, that actually helps the Delta shipyards to survive a little bit better. They still have to deal with the Federation and the Pirate Empire. So now we're moving on to the Pirate Empire, and well, the Pirate Empire is doing really good. For their first action, they've decided they're going to be taking their fleet that was all the way up here, and now they're going to go ahead and they're going to try splitting Delta shipyards again, but the thing is the Federation is in the way. So they're going to take out this Federation fleet that's right here on this fortress world. If they can just take out that fleet, then things will become a lot easier over here, because then they don't have to deal with the Federation. It's more or less just planning ahead a little bit. So right here, they're taking on a warrior and 2 iron wings with a hammerhead, a few rapiers, and a single wing fighter. If they can take out that fleet, then that'd be great. But if they don't, well, it's unfortunate. And it's also a fortress world, so they gotta take that out too. We're gonna go ahead and jump straight to that battle. Alright, here we are on the Caldera Hills. As you can see, here's the Pirate Empire fleet. They seem pretty confident with their frigates and stuff here. They'll be able to do some pretty decent damage to some other fleets. However, I don't think they anticipated that this fleet, while it is small, is pretty powerful. They have two corvettes and a single battleship straight in the center. So we're going to go ahead and declare war here. We're going to see which one of these factions comes out on top in this battle. Now the terrain here is a little bit rough, so these ships have to be very careful, otherwise they're just going to crash into the ground. Okay, these corvettes are already starting to move around, trying to be cautious not to hit each other here. They're really approaching this battle cautiously. In the meantime, the Pirate Empire here, they're kind of just splitting up a little bit, but also just keeping back a bit, trying to be careful. Looks like there was a small collision, but shouldn't be all too much here. Well, you can already see that there's frigates moving in here. And then there's a single fighter here. They're already trying to go after that corvette there. They seem to have taken out a pretty good portion of its hydrogen. Alright, that's one ship defeated. Now they have to go after the other ships without destroying themselves. That's gonna hurt. So that's this frigate completely annihilated. It's gone pretty deep into the ground there. This frigate here can probably get back up if it plays his cards right. Because there are still other corvettes here moving around. And the other frigates here are just keeping their distance. They can definitely see the target, so just refuse them to move and attack it from a distance. Now you can see that this frigate has gone up now. We should be returning to the battlefield. So you can see that that other battleship is moving in, and that's going to be very dangerous for these other ships if they don't start moving. You see the frigates down here are now starting to move about a little bit. They're definitely going for a strategy of trying to keep their distance here. In the meantime, the battleship here is playing it really risky. You might collide with the ground here. Colliding with the ground is very unhealthy for large ships, or any ship for that matter. Oh, he's trying. He might not hit the ground here. It's definitely going after that other frigate back there. It's pushing them back and doing a large amount of damage. It's definitely not healthy. You can see there's still other frigates around the place, trying to do their little bit in the battle here. This battleship is just flinging cannon shells everywhere. That hammerhead's probably not going to have a good time here. Of course, those railguns are going to do quite a bit of damage as they're going to be piercing through the armor. This battleship is in a very rough position here. He needs to find a way to get himself back up. That hammerhead is slowly moving in. It's going to be a small collision here. This battleship is definitely on a good spot. He's kind of just dug himself in. If he doesn't move to the side, he's pretty much just a sitting duck here. That hammerhead is going in pretty low here. Firing directly into the bottom of the ship here. It's not going to be fun if he's taking out some of the main thrusters there. This battleship is still trying to figure out how to get up from this position. If he plays his cards just right, he might actually be able to win this. I wonder if there are any other ships out here that are still alive. It's a large amount of missile coming in, and that's pretty much just crippling the this ship here. At this rate, I think the pirates might actually lose this fight. Either that, or it's going to become a stalemate. Seems like both ships are on the floor. The battleship is completely on its back here. Its hydrogen systems are completely given up. So, I guess that's about it. Let me check if there's any other ships still alive. Are there any other ships that are still alive? Okay. It seems like there are no ships, so this is a complete stalemate. Both fleets are just completely eliminated and no longer able to fly. So we're gonna go ahead and update the roster with that. Okay, with the end of that battle, the Federation managed to keep their planet, but their fleet is completely gone, so the Powered Empire decided that they're gonna leave that as is. They're going to go ahead and build a new fleet, which they decided to put right over here. And of course, you can see they made another super carrier with an escort that consists of 2 battleships and some fighters. And of course, they completely ran out of money, so they can't do anything else with that. But that is an extremely powerful fleet, and I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is they're going to use that to move up towards the rest of the board over here. The pirates are scary powerful right now. I don't think any of these other factions are going to be able to do much. But yeah, that's the second action done. And the third action of the Powered Empire, they're going to take one of their fleets that was here at this shipyard, and actually they're moving it up here to basically attack this fortress world. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to avoid the big scary fleet that's right there, but also they want to deal with the alliance, because the sooner you get rid of a faction, the less you have to deal with, factions taking over the board. So we're going to go over here and see this fortress world under attack. All the Pirates Armada has actually landed here on this icy planet, and they're going to be taking on this fortress over here. So we're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to see if that fortress can even take out one of these ships. So almost immediately all these ships are just going in. It's like a whole armada here. So there is a lot. Ooh, did that hit a fighter, or did that fighter crash into something? I thought that was a piece of debris for a moment. But you can see some of these ships are taking their time just sitting back. The fighters are going in first to distract all the turrets and try to do some preliminary damage. You can see there's a lot of them moving in here. The turrets here are going to need to start taking those out as quickly as possible. It's pretty much our only chance of actually being able to survive this. Or at least be able to do some damage. The big gun needs to focus on the larger ships. It's actually really hard to see the fighters. Up here they are. Oh, there's a lot of them moving in. So already turrets are trying to do whatever they can, and there's missiles coming in. But these are going to start firing their own missiles pretty soon. And here comes all the missiles. That torrent of missiles is just going to rain down on this fortress, as all the point defenses are going to be doing everything they can to defend. And while that's going on, the remaining turrets here, they're going to have to be distracted with those fighters while the larger ships move in, so they really need to hang in and try to take them out. You can see that some frigates are moving in here. Seems like the battleships are also starting to get in a bit close here. But it's mainly just these fighters moving in and they're just doing everything they can. There is a lot of railguns starting to come in as well, so these turrets are not going to last very long if they keep sitting here. Yep, all those battleships in the distance. There are barely even any turrets left here. Just the amount of railgun that's coming in is actually just removing some turrets entirely from their post here. Okay, I think that's all the offensive weapons already completely wiped out. As you can see, I don't think there's been any casualties at all in this fleet. So we're just going to go ahead and mark it that the pirates have successfully taken it over. Alright, we're back to the board, and as you can see, the pirate empire is expanding even more. They've gone really far up. As you can see, they're pretty much almost up to the top of the board here. We're moving on to the Great Red Sun Empire over here with their remaining planets. As you can see, the Alliance is down to 2 planets, which is not great anyways. It seems like the Great Red Sun Empire also wants to join in on this trend, so they're taking their fleet that was here, just their single cruiser, and moving it over here to this Mars snowfields. Unfortunately, they made a bit of a miscalculation as they didn't realize that there is actually a carrier here. So it's one cruiser versus one carrier down in the snowfields on Mars. We're going to jump down there and we're going to see this 1v1 happen. Of course, the carrier will bring its fighters along too. Well, here we are. We're on Mars, basically over here in the snowy part of Mars, over at the pole. And well, here we have the single Crusader carrier on its own with its escort of fighters. Then all the way over here, we have a single ELK cruiser that's going to be jumping into battle here. We're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to see how these two ships fare against each other. Right now, this cruiser is at a bit of a disadvantage because of the fact it doesn't have any fighters escorting it. And it's also just taking on an entire carrier and fighter wing with it. But of course, it should be able to do something against everything here. There's already a bit of damage there from the long-range missiles. He's already going to start taking out all these ships from range. The sooner you can take out those fighters, the better. Here comes the carrier. And the fighters are jumping in as well. This ship isn't doing particularly well against all this. He's taking a lot of damage here. Losing thrusters. In fact, he's losing his arms here as well. That'll help to decrease his weight, but at this point I don't think it's worth it because he's still falling. And well, just like that, the ELK has been defeated. That leaves the Alliance with another victory under their belt, and they get to keep this planet. Alright, so with that battle over, well, the battle down there, we move on to see what the rest of the Great Red Sun Empire has done. So, the Empire here, or the Great Red Sun Empire, they decided to take their fleet that was here and attempt to expand over here to try to get closer to reconnecting their empires. Unfortunately, there was a carrier and a fighter here that was, fending them off, so they failed to take that over. Not really worth putting into the video, as it was just a slaughter of fighters. And, well, up here, they've decided to build another fleet with a corvette and some fighters, so hopefully they have a bit of a chance of surviving there. They're not doing particularly well, but, they're trying. So let's just take a look at the bigger picture here now that we've come to the end of this episode here. It seems that the New Galactic Alliance is down to only 2 planets, and that is really bad for them. They're going to need to find a way to expand, or they're just not going to survive at all. The Federation, they're doing fairly well. They're expanding, which is great, and they are doing pretty good at defending themselves as well. So they might actually be able to stand a chance against the Pirate Empire, but the Pirate Empire is pulling a lot of very powerful fleets out, so they're going to need to figure out something to deal with that. And, well, Delta Shipyards is not in a good position. They are able to expand upwards, which gives them a bit of an advantage here. However, they do have to deal with the remnants of the Great Red Sun Empire. The Pirate Empire is pushing more towards them, so they need to really deal with that. From the Pirate Empire's perspective, yeah, they're doing great. They're actually just expanding through. They actually almost have half of the map at this point. They have over a third of the map owned. So that's fantastic. And as I mentioned, the Great Red Sun Empire is just not doing well. They're just completely fragmented at this point. Yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. If you guys are interested in joining us for Season 2, feel free to join in the description. There's a Discord link there if you would like to join us. We kind of have most of the rules laid out. We will be updating it as we go, but we are still making some preparations for Season 2. So if you guys are interested, feel free to join that. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great day, and take care.